Have you ever had one of those experiences when you see someone and you're thinking to yourself, I know that person. I just know that I know that person. But who is that? Have you ever had that experience? I suspect we've all had that experience when we're looking at a person saying, I know I recognize that person. And then suddenly what happens? The light bulb goes off and you're like, oh, of course. Right? We recognize that person. That's what an epiphany is. A fancy Greek word simply meaning the light bulb goes off. Right? In today's readings, what's so wonderful is that the light bulb is going off. The light is coming on. That light that's symbolized in our Advent wreath, right? Remember, it started with one candle and then grew to 2 and then grew to 3 and then grew to 4. That was a symbol of how it is that the light is coming into this world. And in today's first reading, that's exactly what Isaiah is telling us. The light is going to come into this dark world so that the light is going to grow and grow and grow, and suddenly our eyes are going to be opened. We'll no longer be blind to the realities around us. We'll recognize one another for who we really are. Which is why today's gospel is so important for us as Christians and as Catholics. Because for the Magi, the light bulb went off and they realized that this child was no ordinary child. This child was who? The Messiah, the Son of God, the Christ, the Anointed One. The newborn King, we often refer to him. So what a beautiful symbol. When these Magi, or according to today's responsorial psalm, Psalm 72, these rulers, these kings, came and did what? They prostrated themselves, meaning they put themselves lower than that child. As a symbol of them, Magi, wise people, rulers, recognizing someone greater than themselves. Sisters and brothers, it's the holiday season. Will the light bulb go off for us? Will we recognize the presence of Christ around us? Will we open our eyes? Because isn't it true that sometimes it's hard to see Christ in this world and in other people? Amen? Amen. Think about the most difficult person in your life, the most difficult person it is for you to love in this world. Think about that for a moment. The most difficult person, the person that you have the greatest difficulty loving. Call that person to mind. And now say to yourself, Christ is in that person too. That person who said something bad to you, that person who did something bad to you, Christ is in that person too. Oh, how's that for a challenge? Recognizing the presence of Christ in others. Today we celebrate Epiphany. And in the Latino culture, we typically celebrate it with a ring-shaped bread that we call the what? The Rosca de Reyes, the king cake. The Rosca de Reyes. And what I love about the king cake is that as you look at the king cake, it looks like any other ordinary bread with decorations on top. You don't see what's on the inside. We all know what's on the inside of a king cake, of a Rosca de Reyes. What's inside? Baked inside that cake is a small figure of the Christ child. Can you see it when you look at it? No. But I tell you what, it's in there. There is a figure of the Christ child baked inside this bread, even though you can't see it. And when you think about the most difficult people in your life to love, Christ is in them, even if sometimes you can't see him under all that dough. Amen? I suspect that the challenge for us, brothers and sisters, during this time of Epiphany is to be more and more like the Magi, recognizing the presence of Christ in this world. Because sometimes Christ is hidden in the dough of others' lives in a way that makes him difficult to see. But we know through faith that Christ is there. This week, let's follow in the footsteps of the Magi in recognizing the presence of Christ in those